What if I told you that skipping your daily stand-up or abandoning sprints entirely could be the best move for your productivity and your Scrum team? We're moving beyond rigid ceremonies to embrace true organizational flow. It's time to stop checking boxes for a framework and start delivering value by intentionally breaking the rules. Hi, I'm Jeremy, the Internet Scrum Master. I have over 20 years experience in tech and finance. I've worked across many domains, and for the past decade, I've been a full-time Scrum Master. Thanks for tuning in. Before we get into why, let's talk about Shu Ha Ri. When Agile pioneers popularized this concept for software development, they used it to emphasize 3 distinct stages of learning. Shu means to obey the rules. Ha means to detach or break the rules. And Ri means to transcend the rules entirely. This originates from a Japanese term of the same pronunciation, although I think in traditional translations it would be all one word, which would be the, I think, appropriate way to translate. But when Agile practitioners took it on, they separated into 3 words to identify 3 concepts and 3 phases of maturity. The trap is that most organizations get stuck in the Shu phase and following rigid rules, but that comfort breeds stagnation. Scrum was originally designed as a lightweight, flexible framework, and when you treat a framework as immutable, people start viewing the Scrum Master as the Scrum Police, right? You get rigid and dogmatic implementations with little room to experiment. We have to challenge this fear of being non-compliant to the Scrum Guide. Our goal is a shared understanding, effective planning, and delivering a potentially shippable increment of software at the end of each sprint. It's not having ritual or ceremonies for the sake of having ceremonies. If you look at how elite teams operate, they're pushing towards continuous flow and real-time deployment, and they have been for many years. Working in smaller batches, delivering continuously, allows you to release functional slices of a product more frequently. This does more than just increase the speed. It shortens the customer feedback loop. It lets you pivot quickly against competitors, against market changes, and you realize an ROI much earlier in the product lifecycle. Ultimately, this is the goal of Agile Scrum, right? Shorter feedback cycles leading to improved quality, improved customer satisfaction. And so the question that a Scrum Master has to ask is the practice we are talking about enabling the goal? Is that practice in leading to shorter feedback cycles? Is it leading to better quality? If it's not, then why keep it, at least in its current form? So this is an example of moving from the Shu phase to the Ha phase. So you know when and why to break the rules to achieve real-world results. To move to the Ri stage, to transcend the rules entirely, the team would need to be in a state of flow, or in the zone, as some people would say, as I would say 20 years ago. But think of a musician, right, who has played the instrument for so long that it's second nature. And when they play, they stop paying any attention to the rules of sheet music, to the rules of music in general, and they play just from instinct and produce beautifully sounding music that has nothing to do with musical form. You can think of jazz as an example of that. How do you know when your team has matured enough to stop using the Scrum Guide as a crutch? When are they ready for strategic rule breaking? We need to transition from a fixed sprint goal to fluid product outcomes that reflect changes in market demands. In teams where self-organization has become a natural, instinctive cultural trait, the dedicated Scrum Master role should become obsolete. You're supposed to be trying to work yourself out of a job. I don't think most people ever achieve that, but that should be the goal of a Scrum Master. Make the team self-sufficient. make yourself redundant and obsolete. The true work of a Scrum Master, it's observing team dynamics, it's identifying psychological friction, mediating conflict, questioning architectural assumptions, and questioning and coaching the product owner. This is all largely invisible and qualitative in nature, but if the team handles it naturally, you've done your job. You've reached that re-stage. You've transcended to a higher level of productivity. To transcend the framework, you have to prioritize flow. Start by implementing value stream mapping to identify the bottlenecks. Shift towards a pull system that allows your team to respond to user feedback instantly rather than waiting for the next predefined ceremony or without coming to the product owner or the Scrum Master and asking for work. They will know what needs to be done instinctively. It'll be prioritized in the backlog because the product owner will have instinctively done that as part of their role. Also, stop using velocity as a performance target. I say this all the time. It becomes a metric that leadership wants the team to improve on. Go from 20 points today to 30 points in 2 months. That's not what velocity is. Velocity is a flat line in its ideal state. Instead, measure success not through velocity, but through lead time and cycle time. These metrics measure systemic flow and highlight exactly where the work gets stuck. You can look to various ways to remove the bottleneck. It could be capacity on a particular team. It could be uncertainty in the request and it gets stuck in a backlog somewhere. You find ways to remove that. Then you look further downstream in that value stream map because there will be another bottleneck once you remove the one upstream. And you do that all the way through the entire flow. So where do we go from here? It's time to redefine agility as the ability to change direction without the friction of a predetermined methodology. If you talk about scaled Agile, this still applies. You have a much more defined process and less room for deviation from that process. But it's not a 0% deviation. You're able to implement certain practices, user story mapping, user journey mapping, value stream mapping. These are things that are not, many of them are in the SAFe framework, but they're not always utilized as well as they could be within a release train. So that's something a Scrum Master can do. Leverage the tools that are available in the framework, identify tools that aren't in the framework that you can introduce to an organization that helps further Agile maturity, that helps them think outside the box. This is how you begin that move from Shu to Ha and eventually to Ri, where you're transcending the rules, you're in a state of continuous flow, you're producing, it's instinctive, it's natural, and it's incredibly productive. Teams are happy with that. Think of yourself when you're in a video game or if you're playing music. You get into the zone and it's just you're in this world, nothing else is in your mind. That's what we strive for in the Ri phase. Well, that's it for today. If you're ready to stop playing the Scrum Police and start delivering more value, a higher level value, hit that like and subscribe button. Let me know in the comments how your organization would respond to strategic rule breaking if you proved it yielded results. Until next time, thank you and take care.